The final countdown.
Before.
Yeah, he was driving this white Bronco, and there were people. That would have been a great story. Well, somebody needs to keep the pastors in check.
That's right.
I think so.
I need to know what they're saying about me in those meetings.
We can talk about that later.
Okay.
I have a list. And I had a lot of fun that y'all were squirming a little bit. It's kind of fun.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Northside Now. This is the podcast where we take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. My name is Patrick, and with me as always are my fabulous co-hosts, Glenn Miller and Kevin Bryant.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Hello, guys.
How are y'all?
Howdy.
Doing well.
Well, finally, Patrick, finally.
Finally, what?
The countdown is just to a few hours.
The final countdown.
Before Top Gun 2
Oh, I know.
finally arrives.
Are you
We've been
serious?
waiting. We've been waiting.
He was going to skip my wedding
I
last
was.
year
I
to go
actually
see
was.
Top Gun.
Yes.
Why did I think it was going to be October or something like
it's
that?
the 27th, so
Yeah.
it's coming. And then we had a deal where we were going to really make Elizabeth mad, and we were going to go prior to the wedding
We were going to go before the wedding.
and really make her nervous. So now,
Just go on
we just
July
gotta go.
1st or whatever it is.
The 27th. Is it May 27th?
yeah, it's
Okay.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan,
And Top
Gun, and closing remarks in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. So
Wow.
it is just going to be a good day all
They're
around.
they're about even with entertainment value.
All right, so are y'all still watching the trial? Are you all about
You
it
know
still,
what?
Patrick?
I dropped off.
I was almost late to work yesterday because I got to watching it live and lost track of time. It's
Well,
so entertaining.
In the podcast room today, we have Carey Sisson, who is our team leader for the Board of Elders. And Carrie, have you been keeping up with the Johnny Depp trial as well?
Well, now I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan.
So
I
you
kinda-
already decide who
Kind
wins.
of like the relationship he has with Tim Burton. I kind of like those kind of creative movies that they do, and don't know much about Amber Heard. I guess if I had to say, I'd say I'm on Team Depp, but I really haven't kept up with it. So I may be getting myself in trouble by
No,
saying that.
hashtag Team Depp all the way.
So
And
I'm
that's-
good.
That's,
Okay.
That's
okay.
what you're on, Patrick?
oh, yeah, 100%.
I
No
don't-
question.
Is that a thing? Are they doing that hashtag thing?
Dude, you know
Not
that's
really.
a thing.
It
I mean,
has
I'm
to be.
sure somebody's doing it.
It has to be.
It's
It has to be.
really more hashtag justice for Johnny. So
Ooh,
Oh,
I like
justice
that.
for Johnny.
I like that.
Good alliteration.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So finally, summer blockbusters are back.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've had that.
We have had to wait for a while.
So all right. Well, as long as the court things don't overshadow the good things, we'll be
Now,
good.
some people remember the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to know if this is at the same level as that, or because that was sort of the first mega trial in entertainment, if that one will just never be eclipsed.
Well, I remember the OJ trial because we were at church camp when the white
you were checking
Ford
on
Bronco.
updates?
No, the white Ford Bronco thing happened. And didn't that make Fox News or CNN or something that was like their cementing thing into full-time thing?
I was not old enough to
Was the
remember that.
coverage that they did on the white Bronco chase of O.J. Simpson. And we were at church camp and people were talking about this. And so there was a TV that was turned on and we got to see a piece of that.
Got it.
Because of church camp and how that works, we didn't see it all. But yeah, the white Bronco chase.
I remember when they parodied that in Shrek 2. I remember that.
I was out in Los Angeles. It just so happened.
Were you on that road?
No.
Yeah, he was driving this white
I was not
Bronco, and there were
driving.
people.
Oh,
That would have been a great story.
No, but I was out there. Of course, the trial lasted, for a while.
Yeah.
And I was taking a class. It was a college class in LA for movie making and whatnot. And so we were there, but we couldn't get anywhere near the courthouse because of all the brouhaha. And there were, scaffolds are not necessarily permanent, but permanent scaffolding around the building so that all the camera crews and everything could sort of set up shop there. I do remember that from what I could see in the distance. So it was just a weird, surreal moment that.
Well, mostly I remember if it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the glove.
Was that Johnny Cochran or
It's
something?
it's kind of rhyming. It sticks in people's
Yeah.
head.
But
Justice
psychology.
for Johnny.
But they showed that 10,000 times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's exciting, but we have things equally as exciting as that. With Carrie being here today, we're going to talk about the Board of Elders a little bit. And so when we left the United Methodist Church, we used to have like an administrative council, and they're the ones that made all those decisions and did all the logistical stuff and everything. Then we didn't really have anything. I guess there was a visionary team, some other things that were through the time. But when we left, we created a board of directors, which we met with Ben Ferguson last episode about what the board of directors do. But tell us a little bit about what the Board of Elders do, Carrie.
The Board of Elders, we aren't concerned as much with having to deal with the finances, the administrative stuff. The Board of Servant Directors kind of takes care of that, although we are informed about a lot of those decisions that are made, just as they also receive information from the Board of Elders. The Board of Elders is more of a spiritually led team, ministry type team. What we want to do as a board of elders is just to learn how to equip the members of the church, how to encourage and get them involved, how to really just oversee, shepherd. Kind of like shepherding the flock is kind of how you could word what a board of elder is. We actually discussed in our last meeting the difficulty we have of hearing ourselves called the board of elders because it sounds so, stringent, and we've got to make these decisions and everything is black and white, and that's really not what the board of elders is. It's about getting in the messes. As well as getting in all of the good stuff, the simple things, the comfortable things, that are going on, that are working. But the coolest thing about the Board of Elders, I think, is that we have to remind ourselves that we are I like to call us, we're a dream team.
Okay.
I think that sounds better than Board of Elders.
I like it, yeah.
I like a dream team because we want to really be the eyes and the ears of Christ. We really want to be listening to our members. It's really to reach into the congregation and to hear, what are they seeing? How are they feeling? What are they doing? What are we not doing? What is it that we need to do to better spiritually equip Northside as a church within the walls so that we can step out of this church and really make a difference within our community, within this culture that has changed in so many ways. So it's really to equip and to oversee and to just shepherd and love on our congregation. And if they're struggling, we want to get in their messes. We want the members of this church to know that they have a team that loves them, that has grace, and we just want them to feel that and to be able to just be who they are. And then we start from there and then find a way to work into the way that Christ is leading them to live their life and to serve in this church. It's just a lot of great stuff, you know. I kind of like to think of us as being more of a dream team.
Pretty cool.
We talked with Ben about some of the, I guess, maybe nitty gritty or technical things that he's working on when it comes to starting a church, really is what we consider that to be, starting from nothing to build something. So the Board of Elders were definitely involved in that. What were some of the things that were critical to what you guys were thinking through and doing in that time period? The
cool thing about being on the Board of Elders is we are kind of that team that's getting together and we're kind of working on what is Northside's statement of faith going to be. Now, when I say the Board of Elders, yes, our pastors do go to those meetings. They don't have to. We could easily have a meeting and the pastors not attend. They are not members. They don't vote. That is something that I think is important to know, that this is a team of lay leadership within the church, that, we're trying to make the right decisions, of course, as we prayerfully consider what is going on within the congregation, what is going on within the culture. The cool thing about the Board of Elders is we are getting to work on our statement of faith. We do have Pastor Kevin, who has, from what Northside has stated, some foundational things that they want to stay the same. That was taken over into the Pastoral Search Committee. And so Pastor Kevin is also helping. He is working on that statement of faith, as well as those things are presented to us, and then we review those, and anything we think that needs to be, that God leads us, that, we need to tweak this, we need to maybe take this out or leave this in. But I think we're pretty strong on a lot of the foundational truths that that I know Northside has always had, and that involved with the disaffiliation too. And some of those are that we want to be a church that supports women in ministry, that women can be lead pastors, women can teach within a room, male or female. That has always been a very strong truth for Northside as a church. That's definitely something that will stay in our statement of faith. Another issue is baptism. Is it strictly just immersion? And no, we will keep that the same. There are many who still feel strongly about infant baptism, which is a precious way of baptizing your child. You see the commitment of the family and the entire church and just all that is involved in the love in that type of baptism. So that's going to stay the same, that we will continue those. And also another important thing that I think many need to realize is when someone comes into your church and says, "What is your theology? What do you believe?" We feel strongly that we want to say, well, about the closest you're going to get if you want to Google and look something up is look up Wesleyan theology, not Methodist, look up Wesleyan. And that's where you're going to pretty much see where we stand on our theological beliefs in this church. And that I don't think anybody from Northside's going to really have any issues with that. No. So those are they're not salvation truths. I mean, someone believes in Calvinism or Wesleyan, we're all going to be in heaven. Some people don't believe that women can lead and minister in a church. Well, they're going to make it to heaven just like we are. So there are not a lot of salvation issues there, but very important issues that we as the Board of Elders, and because we know this from our congregation as well, that those are some foundational truths that we need to keep in our statement of faith. So there's some cool things coming to finally have that worked through. We're actually having to get it condensed. It was a little long, and I think that's because we're just so excited. I mean, we have such an opportunity here at Northside to grow into what vision is God giving Northside, not what vision is God giving this particular denomination that's ruled over by so many other people above, and you kind of have to follow a certain line. It is what is God wanting Northside Church in Jackson, Tennessee to do, and it is some good stuff.
Yeah, Northside's always had strong laity and lay leadership and stuff. And so it's good to hear that y'all aren't like yes people for the pastors, and that they come to y'all and y'all are kind of like, let us check your work. So that's good to hear.
Somebody needs to keep the pastors in check.
That's right.
I think so.
So that's good to hear, because that's the tradition of the church, right? It's the body of people, and having those leaders to make sure that it's not just a few people, running the show. So that's good to hear.
And that's what I love. We've got all different ages on the board. You've got, young parents, still getting their kids through school. You've got grandmothers, grandfathers. You've got some have retired. Some are still working. Most are still working full time, whether it's healthcare or some business. It's great, and we always have someone from personnel is there, so that's another great thing. We get to have updates on how the staff is doing. What is it that we can do as a Board of Elders to support the staff here at Northside? What is it that we as Board of Elders can do to love and support our pastors? We want to really help and shepherd and encourage those that are in leadership in staffing here. You guys, we want to know.
I need to know what they're saying about me in those meetings.
We can talk about that later.
I have a list.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
We can go over it, and then you can decide.
And do you want a list? We have a list of.
I know. That's kind of why I thought I better say it that way. One of the first meetings we had after Kevin started was we wanted each staff member to come in and sit in front of us, and we wanted them to know, we want you guys, we want this staff to know, not just the congregation, but the staff to know that we love you, and we want to know, how do you see your position here at Northside? What do you love about it? What do you not love about it? What can we as a Board of Elders do to help you?
Yeah.
And that's just what we want to be.
It was so funny leading up to, remember, we were all like, what in the world are they doing to do? You know,
I know. Y'all were so
we were
nervous.
we were
basically-
nervous. We were like, what in the world?
We all
is
thought
going on?
we were
So-
basically just interviewing for the jobs that we
Yeah,
already had.
yeah,
but we were,
yeah.
You know.
Right.
So it was fun, but it turned out a really great blessing.
Yeah.
To
And I
be.
had a lot of fun that y'all were squirming a little bit. It's kind of fun.
So instead of us making y'all squirm, it was the other way around.
Right.
So
Uh-huh.
that was a good thing. You know, still all these days later, Kevin still hadn't even been here a full year. And all these days later, there is still a lot of new. There's still a lot of
It is.
change. And so is there more change coming?
Is there more change coming? I think it is inevitable
There you go.
that there is going to be change coming because you can't avoid it within our culture.
Exactly.
And I think both of you, especially having youth and the you technology guys here, I mean, church is changing.
Right.
It's just unreal.
Nothing is
It's
as
so
constant
much
as
of it is
change.
foreign to me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we are learning and we are praying and we are listening. I think all of the changes, and not that we have anything definite, but yeah, I think there's change all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about being a board of elder is, are we in these meetings to lead a church to want to just be comfortable? And, you know, that's kind of what I used to think church was, is, oh, church, that's my downtime when I can go and just not really think about anything. And, you know, I'm going to just refuel.
Right.
But, you know, church, we should all be uncomfortable. If a church is doing what they're supposed to do, then we should never be comfortable with who we are in Christ. Not that it's a bad,
Sure.
but being uncomfortable should bring good, positive things to our relationship with Christ. So that's kind of what the board is for, too, is to kind of push that comfort zone and say, okay, Northside, God wants more from us. How can we shepherd you and help you step out and be more for Him?
Yeah.
That's one of the things we've been talking about pretty much all year is change. And sometimes it depends on a personality. Sometimes you love change and you can't thrive without the energy of something new and fresh and going. But many people are just really very uncomfortable with change.
Yeah.
They feel like it's shifting sand and nothing's constant. So the challenge that we've talked about this year is, how do we sort of step out of what's comfortable?
Right.
But really, main focus is, what is Jesus' example? How does that apply to us? And what's it calling us to do? And that's what I feel like, talking to you, talking to Ben, there's a real spirit of energy around where Northside's going. And I know recently we've talked about the service time change and various different things. And there are definitely people in our family that are very uncomfortable, potentially upset by some of the changes. And so, as we've talked many times, how do we pull everybody together, minister to those folks too, have conversations? I don't know that I have the answer, but I think that's where we are as a body of believers, is trying to move forward. And there's going to be some that don't agree.
Right.
And so what do we do with that? We obviously have to love each other, walk alongside each other when we can. But I do believe that our core beliefs, and as you said, the statement of faith, we're pretty much in tune with as a body. So it's going to be continuing to be a process, right?
It is. And I'm going to tell you, Jesus' ministry was not a comfortable ministry. I mean, when you think about the culture,
Totally.
you think about those household codes, you know,
Yeah.
you think about the patriarchal societies that they were in, and he started changing that.
Yeah.
And it just carried on over with Paul. And we can think things are really uncomfortable now. When Jesus is at a well talking to a Samaritan woman,
Yeah. Who are you
that's
to-
pretty big.
Who are you to ask me for a drink of water?
What in the world are you doing talking to a woman in public?
Or we talked about when it was Easter, around Easter time, Gethsemane, and everybody just split. Nobody could be seen. When your life's on the line, that's a different kind of discomfort.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we just kind of have to remember Jesus didn't come and teach a faith of comfort, nor did Paul.
Yeah.
And, you know, change is inevitable. But I can promise you there is a lot of prayer, a lot of thought. There are sleepless nights.
I'm sure.
Not because we're confused if God is sending us this vision or this dream, but we know that it is going to affect many, that it may take them a little bit longer to get on board with some of the changes. but it's inevitable. And I just pray that the church sees our heart and knows that they are loved.
Yeah.
And can just kind of get on board with us. And we love, I hate to say it, some of the elders may say, why'd you say that, Carrie? But it's okay to come to us and give us the complaints. We want to hear it.
Yeah.
Don't put it all on the pastors.
Yeah.
Come to us. There's 15 of us, and we sat at the meeting and at our last meeting, and it was like, this is so much responsibility. It really is. And every single person in that room takes this so seriously. It's a responsibility that, we can't sit in there and say exactly what we personally want. It has to be what the Spirit is leading us to do. And that is uncomfortable because that goes against our human nature.
Right.
Yeah.
We want what's pleasing, what feels good, what's comfortable. Let's not make any waves, because I've always been in that Sunday school class, or it's been very difficult. And I know it's been some difficult decisions on the board of servant directors.
Yeah.
But just to know that we are open, we want to hear from you, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I have found when I've had someone come and it's been the bad and the ugly. And they've said, but what about this? And I've said, oh, I'm glad you asked, because this is really how it went, or this is why the decision was made, or this is why this particular thing didn't happen. And they're like, oh, thank you. And it's all fine. So we don't want anyone losing sleep over something and worrying that we could possibly help you out a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, you can find the list of names for both of the boards on our website. Just go to northsidejackson.com/leadership teams. And
tell them Carey sent you.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm in trouble. But I didn't send them to the pastor, so maybe I'll be.
How often does the Board of Elders meet?
We meet every month.
Every month. Okay.
Every month.
Good.
Mostly it's the first Tuesday. Sometimes we switch it up, but usually it's the first or second Tuesday of each month.
Okay.
We may be off in July because so much is going on.
Sure.
But that's probably the only month we won't meet.
Well, good. Well, thanks for telling us a little bit about what the board does and how they lead us.
Yeah.
And how they vision for us.
And this is,
Yeah.
y'all see that?
For all the people listening, she's holding up a book.
Okay. Yeah. It's the Eldership and the Mission of God. It is by J.R. Briggs. And I kind of put that in our last little newsletter, little outreach letter that went out on the church that I'm sure is on the website. But anyway, if you really want to know where we're getting what is an elder and what does an elder do, if you want this book, it's great for anybody. But anyway, Eldership and the Mission of God, J.R. Briggs and Bob Hyatt. You can get it on Amazon.
Okay, cool.
If you want to read that and go, why are they doing what they do? Well, we're trying to reflect what this book is instructing. Yeah, and we're studying this. We go through 2 chapters at each meeting.
Cool. That's cool. That's really good. It's good to know that. So you can pick that book up at it where all good books are sold, I suppose.
There we go.
And Carrie, you're also been a big integral part of our mission teams to Africa. And here within about a month, almost to the day, y'all are going back to Gamasara. The last time I went with y'all, and we were traveling back, and all of this COVID talk was really getting loud. And just a few weeks later, everything locked down.
I know it. And it kept us from going for, 2.5 years. And I have been very, very angry.
And I'm angry because I can't go this time, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We will return. But tell us a little bit about the trip going this time, and how many people do we have going, number one?
We have 17 going.
Ooh, that's a good size trip.
So I'm really excited, and a lot of newbies.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I'm going to love, because there's no way to describe to them what they're going to see in these people. They are so precious. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to have so many new ones going. We're leaving June the 24th, and we'll be back on July the 6th.
All right.
We started this partnership in 2013. And it's like a contracted partnership. We sign a contract, they sign a contract, not really because you have to have that piece of paper, but just to show how committed we are to each other. And they just pray for us. and they want to know how we're doing. They join us in our services.
Yeah,
so,
they do.
you know, thank you, COVID, because you actually helped the technology so they feel like they're part of Northside service.
Yeah. Right.
They're like 8 hours ahead. So,
Yeah.
you know, they do church for hours, and then, you know, several of them, if they can have a cell phone charged, they have to go into town to do that, but some of them do have cell phones, so they get to be a part of the service. And then the ones that have actually grown up and are in college in one of the major cities, it's real easy for them to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always fun to see some of them and be able to chat with them
Yep.
in the chat areas and stuff
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And
But they're
to be able to do
amazing. When we started in 2013, there was no church. They just kind of brought, you would see them come through the fields with benches and chairs, and they would just set up in a field. They had a foundation only with some steps and just did not have the money to build the church. And Northside stepped up and built that church. They built it, sent enough resources that they could do the work.
Yeah.
And they did, and they started a school in the church that wasn't affiliated. They had to, Sarah Sabai, who she ended up coming back to the village after college. She wanted to come back and contribute back to her community. So it was not accredited, as the kids only spoke tribal. So she spent a few years just teaching correct Swahili, hopefully getting the men within the community to allow their children to come. We started kind of helping to sponsor and send money, and they are a government accredited school now.
That's cool.
We've helped build classrooms. We just did a fundraiser because they had to have more. There's getting
Right.
close to 300 kids there.
Wow.
And I mean, people from the town want to come into the village, which is unheard of for school,
Yeah.
because they know they're getting the best education, they're getting correct discipline, and they get to learn a little bit about Jesus. So it's
Yeah,
great.
we even got them a bus.
Yes,
to
got them a bus.
Bring some of the kids from town out. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's so cool. And what Northside doesn't realize is just how precious each and every person is that's contributed. I mean, our Sunday school class, even if you just put in $1 or $2, we take up for their chicken project.
Yeah.
It was fully funded. They had it fully funded, but it was such a good outreach program for them that we help them now with it so that they can give these chickens. A lot of Muslim families, they are educating them on how to raise the chickens and care
Oh, wow.
for them.
Yeah.
They are so amazing with their outreach and how they just give. They give back so much more than they receive.
Yeah, some of the healthiest chickens I have ever seen. I mean, these chickens are in incredible shape.
They
I
are.
mean,
Care of,
they're
yeah.
really, yeah.
And that was not a North American organization going in and teaching them. They
Yeah.
sent Francis, and he learned some agricultural studies, came back and started that program. They started out doing 6 months training with 6 families. And they kind of went through the first round, and then they thought, you know what? The church decided, we're hungry. Yes, we need these eggs. Every family in this church needs it. But they decided they wanted to at least part of that 6 to give to 1 or 2 outside of the church. And so there were church members that waited so that they could reach out into the community to non-believers and invite them to come, not to have to come to a church service, but to learn how to raise chickens, how to make the feed.
Yeah.
They got, I think it was maybe 2 chickens you get anyway. They help them build their structures that they need. That was their outreach program. So one of our Sunday school classes helps to support that.
I think there's 2 cool things about that. I've been to Africa, had been blessed to do that, a different part of Africa, but similar in many ways. But there's 2 things that really stick out to me there. Is that when you go on missions, especially foreign missions, that you're completely out of your comfort zone, if you're paying attention, you can really see how a relationship with Christ, a community of believers, can apply what was done in first century church anywhere in the world. So you could have it in Gamasari, you could have it in the places I visited in Nigeria, you can have it in Jackson, but we're all compelled by the Spirit to do similar things, to help the people around us, to share what we have. I mean, that's first century church through and through.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. The second cool thing, we've talked to Daphne, and she explained a little bit about how that partnership even came to be.
Yes.
And what is really just amazing to me is that the idea of one or two small group of people, just a simple idea or a seed that's been planted by God at some point, can grow into this amazing ministry that involves churches halfway across the world working together. That's what following Christ is about. That's the vision of heaven I can see, where we're all working together. And how can we do more of that and less of fighting with each other about this particular way of baptism is not the same as this and who's better than the rest?
Yeah.
That's why I always, for my kids, anybody that I talk to, really encourage them to really step out of where they live and do something totally different, because then you can see that working.
That's right.
It is really life-changing. Can be if you're paying attention and you really put some energy into it. So I'm constantly amazed by the relationships and the partnerships and the way this particular congregation reaches all across the world. Mm-hmm. And of course, if any one of us were to go anywhere in the world, we're bringing a bit of Northside with us as we bring Jesus with us. So any of us can be that example bearer anywhere we go. Yeah. So it's just a really cool thing and privilege to be a part of the body of Christ.
When you go and you experience that culture and you get to experience what their day-to-day life is, I mean, you still have very patriarchal society there. Yeah. And just to see where they were in 2013 to where they are now, very much like when Jesus taught, you just got to live by God's word. Mm-hmm. You can't change things very radically, but you can start making those radical changes just in the simple things and teachings that you do. And then to see it go from where, we might see one man walking around just kind of listening like, what are you here talking about, at our health clinics or something, to now you see a group of men that look forward. They'll do some Bible study with Pastor Kevin and some of the other men that are going. It's just going to be awesome. They want to talk to you. Glenn, I mean, you saw that. They were so glad to see y'all.
Yeah, it's fun to be with them. And you learn so much. I mean, they were teaching us things, biblical things, like how their people originally got to that part of Africa. And it was just really amazing. It was pretty neat to listen to them and learn from them as well. And so really cool, really cool. One of the things I think too is, and Kevin, one of your daughters is going on this trip, which is exciting, is we do have a couple of youth going this time, which is great because they get to do exactly what you said, is see, and they're going to come back just literally changed. It's going to affect them in some really amazing ways. I'm looking forward to hearing all those stories and watching that, because it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. But we have, 17, is that what you said going?
17.
Going this year. So that's good. What all are y'all going to be doing? I mean, do you kind of have, you don't have to tell us a day by day, but what are some of the things that you're going to be focused on and doing while you're there? Are y'all going to spend time with Moses and the street kids?
We are definitely going to get to go to our father's house, which is what Moses started. And it's a ministry for street children. Yeah. And really, he's kind of like a social worker, too. I mean, his goal is, if you can very healthily get them back to their families, if you can go and counsel, why did you run away from home? Why are you on the streets? And get the family and to reunite them, you can. But there's many kids that you're not able to do that. So he had nowhere for them to go. They were sleeping, under any kind of protective awning or something at night. I mean, there's nothing in Terime, and the church that's there that they did use, if it's rainy season, whenever it rains, it floods the church. They can't sleep on the ground there, and it's dirt
with holes in the wall.
And so very generous support from Northside. It wasn't a specific campaign for the church as a whole, but very generous givings came from Northside, and so he has a home now. And so we will definitely get to see this new children's home for the street kids. So it's very exciting. They're building on a new sewing house. I didn't realize this. Anna Magera sent me some pictures. And so they're getting their sewing ministry going in a different area. It was in a more of an office type room that would be used for the school. So they obviously need that for the school. Yeah. So they're building something separate from the building. So she said, I'm going to send you pictures. So they would like some help in organizing, getting things there, for their fabrics, and kind of help them kind of know how to keep that room neat and tidy. We're providing some sewing machines.
Nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think they need some that need to be repaired. I don't know if they're repairable, but anyway, we sent some money ahead of time for some sewing machines. They need another water tank to harvest water since we've built on the other classroom set.
Yeah.
So got that done. And they actually said, could we help with painting? We've never painted there. And so, yeah, we're going to help paint some of the classrooms.
That's great.
And there'll be a lot of Bible study, a lot of dancing, just a lot of fun and just whatever they need us to do.
I was showing Patrick a a video that just happened at a conference, and they started off with like this huge dance party beforehand, and that's pretty much the way worship is on every Sunday. There, it's a huge dance party.
No set time.
No set
You
time,
just-
and
Yeah.
If you don't like to dance, sorry, you're going to.
you are.
That's
you are.
right.
And you can't move like they move. It's like they're missing some bones in their bodies or something.
Telling you, they got some rhythm.
It's incredible to watch. I mean, it's worship just watching them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't have to move or anything. Just watch them, and that is worshipful.
Yeah.
So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. We'll
Pretty
have
cool.
some leadership meetings and
Yeah. Well, good. Well, we can't wait to see the slideshow when it gets back or anything else. So make sure y'all are taking a lot of videos and tell them we love them and we miss them.
I
and
will.
Can't wait to see them the next time. So.
I will.
Well, thanks for dropping by with us, Carrie, and
All
spending a
right.
little bit of time with us from the Board of Elders. Patrick, we're zooming into summer.
We are.
So-
Everybody buckle up.
What kind of things do we have running at us pretty quickly?
All right. Well, this coming Sunday, May 29th, is the last day for Grief Share. That's for 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on that Sunday. After that, we've got June 3rd through the 5th is our youth musical. So make sure you put those days on your calendar. The 3rd and the 4th is going to be at 7 o'clock, and the 5th is going to be at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Matinee. So,
Wanted.
yeah, we're going back to the wild, wild west.
Yeah. Hey, dress up. Wear jeans and boots and cowboy hats and stuff like that. So dress up when you come. Don't just come in normal attire. We
Wear
want
your
everybody.
chaps and spurs.
Yeah,
too.
do that.
Ride our horse.
Yeah,
Ride a horse then.
Ride your horse.
You could
I
bring
could
one
bring
of your.
Minnie.
You could.
Minnie, our mini horse.
That would be amazing.
Please bring a mini
That would
horse.
be awesome.
Reba, our long-haired cow.
Or a donkey.
All of the above. Just bring a whole petting zoo.
And Carrie has a petting zoo at her house. Or two.
I thought it was the safari park too.
Yeah, I think she's trying to create competition out in Crockett County. So, or is that just a Crockett County thing? You have to own some kind of crazy wild exotic
maybe.
animals to live there.
You don't really have to, but it does help.
People
you.
look at you weird if you don't.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like we're close to royalty now. We just need a few more.
They're trying to turn Crockett County into the Serengheti.
But yeah, make sure you put June 3rd through the 5th on your calendar. After that, we've got June 23rd. We have another convening of the Mothership, which is
Whoa.
our mom's group. Yeah, they're going to paint again. So that's going to be on June 23rd at 6 o'clock. There will be a nursery provided, and the cost is $15, and that'll cover all your paints and the canvas and everything. So if you're a mom, come hang out with some other moms.
Cool.
And then rolling on into July. Actually, the co-ed softball, when does that start?
In June, starting in June, second week of June. So if you want to play, give me a holler. $40 to cover fees and all that stuff. So sign up for softball.
Yeah, and you can find out more information on that on our website, northsidejackson.com/recreation.
Yep.
And then rolling into July 11th through 15th, we have Vacation Bible School. So that's going to be fun.
Making
The
waves.
theme is Make Waves. It's a beach theme.
Like totally, dude.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Totally tubular.
Yeah.
We still need volunteers for that, so make sure you sign your kiddos up and sign up to volunteer. You can find those on the website as well. Well, guys, thanks for podcasting with me, and thanks to all of you out there in the world for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at Northside Now Podcast. Go to our website, northsidejackson.com, or email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com. We hope to hear from you soon. Once again, this is Patrick,
This is Maverick.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Carrie.
and that's what's happening at Northside Now.